What's up everybody? So Riffs, Beards and Gear, one of the bigger guitar channels on YouTube, recently uploaded a video called "The Tube Amp is a Dying Luxury." And I respectfully disagree as a person who plays a Kemper profiling amplifier 99% of the time. So let's get into this video and discuss the most important points.
Howdy everyone, my name is Ryan Bruce, my friends call me Fluff.
What's up Fluff? How you doing, man? So the good thing about Fluff is he discusses these things with a lot of reason. He doesn't over dramatize these things, and this is going to be a respectful video. So for those of you who clicked on this video to see a roast or anything like that, that kind of negative stuff doesn't happen here. This is a positive channel.
I think tube amps actually might eventually go away. A lot of younger players really look at speaker cabinets, but more so tube amps, as I would look at a Mercedes-Benz.
That is also totally normal in my opinion. As kids growing up in the 90s, watching people play half stacks and play tube amps was absolutely the Mercedes-Benz for us, because it was absolutely unaffordable for us to do. So of course you were at peace playing your admittedly shitty equipment because you knew this is all that you can afford right now. And of course you dreamt about having a tube amp or a half stack or something like this. So of course this was the Mercedes-Benz. That's always been the case.
Yeah, of course I would love to have one, but that's not really realistic. That's the attitude of a lot of younger players these days.
Which is no different from how it used to be. In my opinion, it was exactly like that. You couldn't afford that kind of stuff, but you dreamt about it. Why? Because it was the real deal. The Mercedes-Benz is the ultimate car in that analogy. So is the tube amp for guitarists. I don't think anything changed there, to be honest.
See, old people like me.
Oh, Fluff. You're so cute. You're not old. My dad is old.
Have a nostalgic tie to tube amps. And really, when we were growing up, that's all there were. There were physical amplifiers of all shapes and sizes, obviously. And if you didn't want to use those, then you just didn't play.
That's not true. That's definitely not true. So there always used to be shitty transistor kind of amps, even in the 90s and 2000s. It's not like you either played a tube amp or you didn't play. It's not black and white. You could buy all sorts of amps. I had a pretty bad transistor combo. Everyone had these small practice combos. It's not like if you didn't buy a tube amp then you couldn't play guitar. So that's not really true. So the comparison he makes, it's not quite accurate. It's the exact same thing today. You buy a $300 or $400 digital kind of amp because that is what you can afford right now and that is what you're playing. But of course you're always looking at what else is out there in the market. It used to be the exact same way in the 90s or when I was a kid. You played what you could afford and then later on you would upgrade. You always looked at the bigger stuff that was in the market, but that didn't keep you from playing your transistor amp, or in today's terms, your digital amp. So I don't see the change there, to be honest.
When I'd have these conversations with these younger folks at the shows I was playing, they would simply explain, yeah, I have a great set of headphones and I have a MacBook and I have a digital processor, Fractal, Helix, Quad Cortex, whatever. They would just very matter-of-factly explain, yeah, I can sound great on my pair of headphones and be in my bedroom and not bother anybody, so it's not really a big deal. Aside from actual speaker cabinets, now tube amps are kind of in that category with the younger players, and it makes total sense because, as it was explained to me, there's no effects, so it's limited options. It's heavy, it's big, it's expensive, and to maintain it with the tubes, that's getting crazy now as well. Why would I want a tube amp?
Yeah, but that's just been a reality for years and years and years now. And that is one thing this entire video is just ignoring. All these points are basically laying out that there is a market of live players that don't want to play amps anymore because it's heavy, it's inconvenient, tubes are breaking, all that kind of stuff. That's always been the case for the last, like, I don't know, 10 to 13 years or something. So when you play live nowadays, for example, when I am playing live, I'm usually a hired gun that just gets on board of the production, and they usually have some on-stage production going on, and they're carrying Kempers around on tour, for sure. So you're basically joining the tour with your guitar and a USB stick. That's all you're doing. That's a reality. For sure. So that's when all the digital solutions definitely have their use and are being used most frequently. However, that is the live world, and the live world is just such a small fraction of the entire guitar market. It's like, I would even say it's the smallest fraction of the guitar market, because who really plays live? There's a million guitar players on earth playing in their bedrooms, and there's a couple of thousand people on the world playing live on tour in professional productions, going from city to city in a fully digital production, for sure. But that is really like a fraction of the market. Let's be honest, guitarists, we are mostly male, we are mostly over 25, and we are mostly playing in our bedrooms. And that is completely fine. It has no negative connotation at all. So that is just a reality. We usually play in our bedrooms, living rooms, or with friends in our local band that has maybe 5 to 10 gigs a year, if that. And for those people who make up the majority of the guitar market, the tube amp is very, very relevant. Why? Because that is how we started, and that is how we envisioned ourselves as kids. One day I'm gonna have a tube amp, and I don't think that sentiment has died at all, because when you start playing guitar today, who's your hero? Probably still somebody who plays a tube amp. If your hero is John Mayer, plays tube amps all the time. If your hero is Marcus King, the new up-and-coming blues king, he plays tube amps all the time. If you're a country guy, Daniel Donato, young and upcoming country guitarist, plays tube amps. All these guys are still playing tube amps, so the new generation of guitar heroes are again playing tube amps. So who is the next generation of guitar players inspired by? By those people. So the tube amp and the inspiration that comes along with tube amps, with the sounds that tube amps produce, is being forwarded to the next generation already, because the new generation of heroes in the blues, country, and rock world still playing tube amps. That would be my argument. And that's coming from somebody who plays Kemper 99% of the time, because I'm a content creator and I need to be in recording mode within seconds, and I play in a flat, and I don't want to piss off my neighbors, obviously. And it's just very, very convenient when you play live. Even though I have this Marshall Silver Jubilee in my room here, I can't use it here. But would I if I could? 100%. This cannot replace the experience that you get from playing a tube amp.
Yeah, why would I buy a Ford Model T when I could buy a Tesla?
That, in my opinion, is not really a fitting argument, just because just like there is a trend for technology in the younger generation, there also is an absolute retro trend in the younger generation. Look at fashion, for instance. Right now, I feel like when I look at younger people right now, fashion of the late 80s and early 90s, again, is trendy. And I, as somebody who's living in Berlin, Germany, I'm seeing people every day in the streets absolutely valuing retro stuff, old cars, old clothing, old everything, like vinyls and all that stuff. It's all pretty much coming back. So you could easily make the point that tube amps are coming back, just because retro has been a trend for so long in our generation. Look at TV shows. There's old TV formats coming back because people want to live in this comfortable kind of space where everything is like in the old world. And I feel like it's much more likely the tube amp is here to stay than it going anywhere soon, to be honest.
Tube amps are gonna go the way of classic cars. Like, yes, I don't think they're gonna be a part of a lot of daily lives in the next 20 years.
Whose daily lives? The daily lives of us live musicians playing as hired guns? for sure. The daily lives of most of the guitar market, I don't think so. It's still a dream to have a tube amp. The tube amp is still considered the real deal.
Look at a jukebox or something like that. Something that used to automatically play records and was super cool for its time, but it was quickly, just outdated.
I could easily counter that argument by saying everybody has vinyls again. Everybody has vinyl again. Everybody has a record player again for vinyl. So I feel like it's coming back rather than it leaving anytime soon.
No one's using speaker cabinets anymore because everyone's on in-ears. So why would they? That is indicative of what is actually happening in the guitar playing world.
He always confuses the live world with the entire guitar world. That is just really the professional top layer of the market.
Tell me I'm nuts down in the comments, or if I'm right on the mark, it's probably somewhere in between.
You're definitely not nuts, Fluff, but you're just underestimating the fact that we as musicians, we favor relationships with our instruments, meaning we have these guitars because we feel they are special, and the same goes with our amps. The right guitar into the right amp creates something that is special and that creates a connection between the musician and his equipment. And that is not to be underestimated, because that is what actually generates inspiration. And inspiration is the thing that keeps us going as musicians. I have never heard any guitar player say, wow, this Kemper sound was so inspiring, I wanted to play for the rest of my days. I always hear players say, wow, this Kemper really matches what I'm used to hearing very, very closely. And that's exactly where the difference is. These digital solutions are made to get you where you need to go in a very short amount of time. And it actually does the job, it does work, and it is very convenient. However, what I see musicians draw inspiration from is something like, for instance, standing in front of an amp and having your pants blown away because of the sheer volume of the amplifier. That is what inspires, for instance, a rock musician. And that cannot be generated by a digital solution that is mainly supposed to get a job done in a very economic fashion, and that it does very well. The tube amp, however, is a source of inspiration, and that is something we need to consider when we're talking about things that may or may not go away. In my opinion, the tube amp does not go anywhere. It's here to stay. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. What do you think? Is the tube amp going to stay? Is it going to go away? I think I made my point pretty clear. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.